Paul and Chloe got in contact with me about creating something for the charity event for the Ikon Gallery. And I suppose I'm bracketed in with Connie and Richard Deacon, and it was a specific commission for a piece of work. And this coincided at the end, I say coincided, this came around at the end of a very long project for me, which was at the new Terminal 2 at Heathrow, which is like one of the biggest pieces ever made in Europe, I believe, or longest pieces ever made in Europe. But it was of a particular movement. So I'd spent 3 years part-time on that work, investigating not just the build of it, but that, the notion of movement. And when they came to me, I was rather flummoxed because obviously it was an artwork, but it also, the brief hinted that it had to have some form of function to it, and that slightly put me off. But I pursued with the drawing, with this 3-year history of Slipstream, the piece at Heathrow, a movement, and came up with the idea of taking some everyday ordinary object. I thought first of all a cup or a plate, but then I had at home a very beautiful ordinary jug that would hold water or wine, and decided to do something with that. This everyday ordinary white ceramic jug would do something of a movement, and therefore it could be a sculpture that could sit on a table in the same way as a jug would sit on a table. Whether it had a function or not, it probably didn't have a practical function, but it had a function in that it was observed and wondered upon, that kind of thing. And what we did is I worked on a series of drawings and photographic montages and collages where the jug just falls over. So it's in its standing rightful position, lip of jug, handle, and the jug just falls. As it falls, it rolls slightly, so there's a little bit of a turn on it. The very first drawing was very elaborate. The jug kind of pirouetted and fell over, and it was far too busy, far too complicated a form, but intriguing at the same time, but one that could only be modelled in the computer to make a mould so that we could make it in ceramics. So I simplified on that. So the jug is standing on the table, and it's almost like it falls over in real life, and that falling is frozen as one continuous movement. And that's what we produced. Because it was modelled in the computer eventually from my drawings, we were then able to digitally manufacture a plug from which we then hand extracted moulds, which were then used to pour ceramic slip. So it's the same technique as building a jug, except this jug fell over.